Let me hear it. You were singing the song all day.
Yeah.
You hear him? Go New York, go New York, go. He's so excited. Come on.
I'm very excited.
Let's hear it. The New York Knicks making headlines. A little hallelujah going on over there? What's going on? The New York Knicks, after a dreadful February, have picked up the pace, now winning 4 in a row. Watch out. Watch out. 4 games in a row.
Going for 5. Boston Celtics.
Going for 5 against the Boston Celtics. Quite frankly, I'm still not impressed.
Well, what is there to be impressed about? They're beating teams they should beat.
That's what I mean. They're beating teams that are worse than them. So they're getting a favorable schedule right now, so I'm glad that they're winning. It's good to see them on the winning track, but can't get that excited yet. But there is some things to be excited.
Well, right now they're 59-40
against another bad team.
Against the Boston Celtics.
Another
3
bad
minutes
team.
left in the first half.
Let's hear some good news, John, because you've been dying to let this.
It is phenomenal news.
Phenomenal news.
Phenomenal news.
Let's hear it.
Probably the greatest coach in the history of the NBA.
Okay.
Is
All right.
becoming the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks. Phil the Zen Master Jackson.
The Zen Master himself
is coming back to New York. He's coming back home.
coming to New York.
He's coming back to where he won 2 championships as a player for Red Holtzman's famed 1969 and 1973 championship teams with Walt Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed. Phil Jackson was a 6th man on that team, where he was known for his long, lanky defensive abilities coming off the bench for that team, for that championship team, who actually played a key role in being a defensive specialist on that team. And known for his, crafty, intelligence in basketball, and he's bringing the Knicks front office where they desperately need it, Joe.
Desperately.
There's a lot. Spit
it out.
That's how mind blown I am.
Wow.
Phil Jackson
expanded
is
the
vocabulary. Is the in this miserable season, and this miserable New York Knicks have endured. There is a tunnel, and that Phil Jackson and his wonderful mind bringing the triangle offense to New York in the front office. And let me tell you the parameters of this deal that have been rumored.
The parameters of this deal.
Joe, James Dolan, his gigantic ego. Phil Jackson is reportedly
okay,
getting $15 million per year for being the president of basketball operations and the president of the front office for the New York Knicks, and making a stake in owning the team. My ownership of the New York Knicks, along with James Dolan. How about that?
How about that?
Now
that is something.
How can you deny that if you're Phil Jackson?
And
he hasn't, and he's accepted.
He hasn't, but I could tell you easily why he can.
Well, they stink.
Exactly.
Joe, let me tell you something.
You tell me. I want you to tell me.
Phil Jackson. You know what Phil Jackson brings here? He brings exactly what Pat Riley brought to the Heat. He brings exactly what Larry Bird brought to the Indiana Pacers, and what Jerry West brought to the LA Lakers, along with the Golden State Warriors, where he is right now. He brings intelligence. He brings a big appeal of a big Hall of Fame figure in this organization, showing that they know business, they mean business, and he will attract big-time players to this team next year. And he will clean house right now.
Clean house. Who's the first one out?
Woodson.
And who's in? Who's out?
The only guy, unfortunately, that's Tyson Chandler, Amari Stoudemire, and Andrea Bargnani. Felton's gone. Who else is gone?
Carmelo Anthony.
See, now, some may argue that this helps Carmelo Anthony come back to New York Knicks.
It does not.
It does not. Anthony come back to the New York Knicks.
He doesn't run that.
He does not. That Phil Jackson is known to be an innovator of, along with Tex Winter, his longtime assistant coach, who has since passed away. It was a great loss to the NBA family. His death a few years ago. The genius that he was, and along with the genius of Phil Jackson, incorporating the triangle offense and mastering the triangle offense in the NBA. Carmelo Anthony cannot succeed in that offense. He can succeed in that offense, but he's not the type of player that Phil Jackson favors. A lot of the people compare him to Kobe Bryant. He's not Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is more of a complete player than Carmelo Anthony is. And I think that this does not only mean the end of Carmelo Anthony's career in New York, but I think this begins the rebuilding of the New York Knicks.
Wow.
Into a winning team. And I think that starts with my first prediction of who they're going to sign.
Which is?
LaMarcus Aldridge in 2015.
Wow. Now that would be huge.
You know why?
Why?
The big man, Shaquille O'Neal, was the big man that helped that triangle offense run. Do you know how the triangle offense runs, Joe?
You want to explain it, Coach?
Two men at the top of the key. First of all, everybody has to be able to shoot on the floor.
Everybody.
Everybody has to be able to shoot on the floor. Everybody has to have the ability to pass and run and cut. Now, Lamar is a big man who will stay at the block.
Can shoot.
And he is an athletic guy who, isn't gawky. He isn't a guy like Tyson Chandler who's just a log down low and doesn't move.
Finally, finally, you agree with me on Tyson Chandler.
Okay, Joe.
Just saying.
Offensively, I agree with you. Not
just
defensively,
saying,
Joe.
Rebounds, mine.
Anyway, LaMarcus Aldridge, there's always a guy at the top of the key. He gives the ball to the person standing next to him. Right? There's two guards at the top of the key.
Two guards.
The guy passes the guy that's bringing up the ball, the facilitator.
Okay.
Passes to the wing player.
Which the Knicks don't have.
Carmelo Anthony.
Well, I'm saying the facilitator.
They don't have. Essentially, it would be Raymond Felton.
Okay.
Felton would pass to Carmelo Anthony, who was on the wing. Then Felton would cut to the corner.
Cut to the corner. Okay.
The cut to the corner, where there would be a guy on the strong block, which would be
the strong block.
LaMarcus Aldridge. In the past with Phil Jackson, it was Pau Gasol, Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
Which would form the triangle, where there would be a wing player, a guy in the corner, and a guy standing at the top of the triangle, which is the big block down low. That would be the triangle, which would give the option of shooting, passing to the block, or the big man setting a screen and setting up another triangle on the other side of the court.
You know what? You know so much about this triangle offense. I could see you running this Knicks. Watch out! Sign up the franchise. The guy's got it. The terminology. He's got it all down pat where he wants his guys going.
Right. But
okay,
with this offense the Knicks have right now, they don't have anyone that can do it.
Yeah. That's why your description of using Felton and Chandler and this, I was like, wow, this is never going to work.
Because you throw the ball into the big man, like Pau Gasol. What can Pau Gasol do? He can create a shot. He can drive down low. Shaquille O'Neal bullied his way down low, and he was able to pass the ball out to a guy like Kobe to shoot the ball. The Knicks, and a lot of ball movement is required, and a lot of people off the ball movement. People without the ball need to move around, which, as me and you can both agree, no.
Ad nauseum.
They do not do, and the ball stops I can't even describe like a dead.
Like
it just it doesn't move. Everybody get
parked car.
The parked car. It's dead. That's what the Knicks offense is. It's dead. Wow. It's terrible. Phil Jackson's gonna change all that, Joe. He's gonna change it all.
The franchise is convinced. The boat is on the way. He has sailed.
And Phil Jackson's throwing me a raft.
Here's a guy who last week was on the verge of never watching another Knicks game again, and now
just to see Phil Jackson in the press.
Look out! Look at the fan base growing once again with this Phil Jackson.
You don't think that's going to grow a fan base?
That's going to do everything. That's going to.
Now, see, I've given my little spiel.
You've given a nice spiel. That was nice. I was impressed.
What do you think is going to happen? How do you think Phil Jackson is going to benefit this team?
Phil Jackson. This is what I think of Phil Jackson.
Because I was a huge fan of the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Lakers growing up.
Huge fan.
Along with the New York Knicks.
As was I. Phil Jackson. You bring him into the New York, the Big Apple, the Mecca, MSG. What's this do? It attracts. You look at the Knicks right now. They have nothing that would attract you to come to New York. You bring in a guy like Phil Jackson. Now you're talking. He's an experienced guy who could lead a team, who has led multiple teams, who's been effective. He comes in, even if you don't have a roster surrounded by him, you have a glimpse of hope that he could create and bring people in. And that's what I like most about Phil Jackson. It gives, even if Carmelo Anthony were to leave, and the following season is a little subpar, a little off, not the best of year, you know? Come 2015, when the big free agencies roll around, and you got a ton of money to spend, Phil Jackson attracts people. Dolan, everyone else up there, they don't attract anyone. They turn people away.
They make people sick.
As they've made us sick.
I can't stand James Dolan.
He is sick. But you bring in a guy like Phil, the Zen Master. His name, his reputation alone will help bring people into the Mecca, into MSG. Hopefully revive this Knick team.
Right.
And like we were saying with Carmelo Anthony, he did speak about his impending free agency.
And he does not sound happy.
He does not sound happy, and quite frankly, he came out flat and said, you know, this Phil Jackson stuff doesn't faze me. It won't judge what I do and what I don't do. Quote, I don't think it'll have any effect on me, just as far as what I'm thinking or my decision or anything like that. That's what he said this morning during a shoot-around. Like I said, I haven't talked to Phil yet, just to get his insight on a lot of things. What his plans, what his future plans are, because everything is in his hands now. So quite frankly, that isn't an optimistic message in my mind.
You know what I say to that, Joe?
What do you say? Let him go. That's
I say, Carmelo, there's the door.
Let him go.
Goodbye,
Let
Carmelo.
him go. And
I supported you. I loved when you first came to the Knicks. But when it comes down to who am I going to trust more with leading a team to the championship, Phil Jackson or Carmelo Anthony?
You bet your bottom you're going to
make Phil Jackson 1,000 times over. And Phil Jackson is smarter than you, Carmelo. Phil Jackson has won more than you, Carmelo. And Phil Jackson will win more than you wherever you go, I think.
And now you finally want to believe me when I'm saying let go of Carmelo Anthony.
And you know why I'm honestly thinking Carmelo's saying that? It's because he realizes what type of scheme Phil Jackson runs. Not that Phil Jackson's going to be the coach, but Phil Jackson, once this is made official and he is the president of the front office of New York and is the president of basketball operations, whether he hires a general manager who is going to report back to Jackson about the players that they're going to bring in, or whoever he's going to hire as a coach, he's going to hire a guy that has a similar mind to him, or has, you know, a understanding of the triangle, or an understanding of ball movement, understanding of the similar schemes that he has run in the past with the Lakers and the Bulls.
Yeah, it only makes sense.
And Carmelo knows that that's not the type of ball that he plays, and that this is going to hurt his stats, hurt his star power, whatever he think, his ego, whatever he's got, and he doesn't want to be anything. He doesn't want to be a part of that, and he's shown he doesn't want to be a part of that, and I think that he's going to leave.
Since the Knicks since they had that drought, that awful play, it was just clear.
Breaking news, Joe.
Breaking news. Look at that. We got breaking news on Sports Central. Let's hear
Darrelle Revis has signed the contract with the New England Patriots, 1 year, $12 million.
Look out. A dagger in the heart of Jets fans. Breaking news. Who reported that? Schefter? The one, the only, Adam Schefter, once again, tearing the hearts of many Jet fans right out of their chest, putting it on the ground and stomping on it.
1 year deal, which is exactly what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have done instead of giving him 6.
Now, if you honestly thought Darrelle Revis was not going to go to the Patriots because, he played for the Jets.
So much for that meeting. The meeting is now canceled.
Give me a break. That breaking news just threw me right off the Knicks bandwagon.
I'm not the Knicks bandwagon. Joe, I'm staring at a picture of Phil staring at a picture of Phil.
What are you looking at over there?
That says the King of New York.
King of New York, Phil Jackson. No, but now I remember Carmelo Anthony. Yada yada yada. But Carmelo Anthony, you could tell once the Knicks started going downhill that he had mentally checked out.
Yeah, he's not.
You gotta believe that once the reporters surround you, starting to question, will you return, will you not, that things aren't looking good. And quite frankly, let him walk. I could deal with an atrocious 2014, knowing what's ahead in 2015 and the potential of what Phil Jackson could bring to this team. Let's get a live look in with the Knicks right now. What do we got going on?
What do we got going on right now, Joe? We're ahead with the New York Knicks leading the Boston Celtics 68-48.
Wow, beating on another bad team. Finally, they're doing something right. Also, in action in the third, just under 4 minutes left, the Brooklyn Nets hanging with the Miami Heat. The Nets, you gotta love the way they're playing basketball now. They won 7 out of their last 9. They bring back Jason Collins for the rest of the season.
Whoop-de-doo.
There we go, whoop-de-doo.
The star.
They bring him in. They re-sign him to the rest of the year. Whatever you want to say about that. But here's a team who's slowly creeping up. Like I said, slowly creeping up. I believe just a game behind Washington for the 5th seed in the East.
This is a horrible conference.
But not saying much because at 25 and whatever the Knicks are, at 25 and 40,
they're 3 out.
They're 3 out. That's pathetic.
This might be the worst Eastern Conference ever. It's awful. Awful.
But regardless, definitely a great sign for the Nets as they continue to play well, as they head in for a nice little playoff push. But it looks like we have run out of time, unless we have any more breaking news on tap. Anything else?
Nothing as of right now, Joe, but Darrell Revis, in fact, has signed with the New England Patriots with a 1-year, $12 million contract, all guaranteed.
All guaranteed. Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's all guaranteed.
Pretty sure.
We got to check up on it again. I don't think that's
official yet. No official guaranteed money.
No official guaranteed money yet, but
you heard it first. Adam Schefter reporting that Darrell Revis.
And now the New York Jet fans is beginning.
Here we go. If you want to be entertained tonight, please
go on
Twitter. Type in Jets. Just type in Jets in the search, and you're gonna be entertained tonight. I can guarantee you. And I can't wait to go on Twitter and heckle some Jets fans tonight. I'm looking forward for it. I'm looking forward.
Joe, you know what I'm looking forward to?
What are you looking? The New York.
I'm gonna TiVo. Okay.
You know what? I wouldn't surprise me if you cancel out on a hot date or something for Phil Jackson right now. That's how.
I'll tell you what. I'll be angry if I miss it. I'll be angry if I miss that press conference because I don't think I've been more intrigued to hear what a person had to say at a press conference than this press conference.
And hopefully it's coming soon by the end of the week.
It should be by
hopefully Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah, I would assume Friday. But stay tuned. Unfortunately, next week we will not be on the air.
Spring break. Woo!
Spring break. All right, you going anywhere, Frank?
No, I'm heading back home.
Heading home where he belongs. He's heading home.
Oh, poor Evan. Evan Roberts is all upset.
He's upset?
Well, he's screaming 1-year deal. 1-year deal. How? 1-year deal.
There's going to be a lot of upset Jeff fans, and I can't wait to be entertained on Twitter later this evening. But unfortunately, next week we will not be on. But the following week we will be back, same place, same time. By then, free agency will have died down. We'll look at what we've missed, maybe see what the Knicks have done. Baseball will be in pretty much full effect by then.
It will.
Look out. So we'll
spring training, and we'll be looking at the predictions to the MLB season.
We will have it all not next week, in 2 weeks on Sports Central. Same place, same time, so make sure you come back and tune in.
Thank you for listening.